White hot jams in the afternoon.
All right.
Here on the odd hours.
I thought you were...
White hot.
Yeah, you were going to... that was a wedding song, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. That was not exactly what I meant to play.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll get to something a little funkier a little bit later. Yeah, but, I DJ'd a wedding, and these people had really good taste in music, and it actually introduced me to a few artists that I wasn't so familiar with. So we're gonna be playing a few of those songs, some funky kind of a nouveau or neo. Do those words mean the same thing?
No.
Nouveau and neo.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I'm gonna use them pretty much interchangeably.
Unless you're talking natal.
Neonatal?
I think that's
Or
exactly
nouveau
the difference.
natal.
Nouveau natal?
They're both new.
Nouveau naval.
Whoa.
This is the odd hours. We're just getting strange. We're going to be getting that way till about 4 o'clock.
We wanted funk, but he brought us R&B. So let's see if we can bring this afternoon show for everybody back together.
Yeah, we're going to see. It's we didn't get off to a blazing start.
I still don't know where I'm at.
It's a great song. It's just maybe not a good one to get started with. So we're just going to keep maybe some poor musical choices going for the next 15 or 20 minutes until we can get this thing back on the rail. So, again, great music. It's just all about the character and building up to something.
I'll build a playlist for you real quick, and we'll get it going.
All right, we're going to see what we can do. But if you want to help us out,
sure.
Give us a call. Let us know.
970-221-5065.
We are the Odd Hours. We've got a special guest. We'll be coming back talking to him in just
we're telling
a little
stories.
bit.
We're telling stories.
Welcome to the Odd Hours. We're getting to some more music. We are on commercial-free KRFC.
But not interruption-free.
Modest Mouse with Tiny Cities Made of Ashes. We had Magic Slim. Before that, Loving You is the Best Thing That Happened to Me. So I had Bone Pony, somebody calling in wondering about that one. She's My Religion. We also had, we got everything started off. What is that, Raphael Sadiq?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's what you said.
Yeah, didn't mean to get him right at the top, but hey, we'll be getting to the intended track here in just the next little while. We'll just pretend like the show starts all over again. It's just like a rebirth. Every hour we just reinvent the show all over again.
We can do it twice an hour.
Yeah.
Contractions are frequent on this show.
In fact, yeah, we're gonna get a few other things done, but I think we're gonna play our intro again.
Okay.
And the intended first song. Then we'll just say it's like a reboot.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like Odd Hours rebooted. But we are going to get to a few other fun things before we'll do that at the top of the hour.
Okay.
We're gonna be reborn at the top of the hour.
Okay, I like it.
All right, we're gonna do it. But we have David here. He is a storyteller. He's going to be up there this weekend. I guess that's starting tomorrow. Technically an early weekend, going all the way through Sunday up there in Estes at the Rocky Mountain Irish Fest. So
that's correct.
And now this is something that you do pretty often? You get up there?
It's the first time at Estes Park. I've been on tour at Irish festivals across the country and taken me storytelling to Ireland in November, so it's become an international tour.
Okay.
Way back when I was a neo storyteller, and then I kind of graduated to a nouveau storyteller, I guess, to fit your intro.
All right, well played. Well played.
Now I'm an experienced old storyteller. A Shawnee, as they call them in Ireland.
Right.
But storytelling's an old tradition in Ireland. It's what people used to do around the fire late at night before there was radio and before there was other forms of entertainment.
We have a word for that. It's called lying.
Yes.
Which I think is a pretty standard, what would you say, like a quality of almost any storytelling.
Exactly. A little more blarney, but yeah, lying, I suppose, is it. But that was how
it's just making it more interesting.
History was kind of passed down from generation to generation.
Punching it up,
pump it up a bit. You had to entertain crowds for a long time, so you'd be hours around the fire. So yeah, you'd have to add a little more glamour, a little more cleavage, a little more, everything into the story, a little more beheadings and that sort of thing to get people keep their interest for hours at a time.
Beheadings and cleavage always make stories
Yes,
better.
yes.
Right?
George R.R. Martin.
Yeah.
So you have to do that. Yeah, definitely. They got some of them got over the years got pretty bawdy. The old Irish tales are a lot of fun. But when you unsort them out, these 3,000 year stories, and you get them all sorted out and figured out what they were talking about and translated, you find people back then were no different than us. They just wanted to have a good time, and they had it around the fire by listening to these long, protracted stories about love lost and betrayal and
So just talking about their day.
just a normal everyday, especially in the old Celtic days. That was an everyday event.
Sure,
Yes, exactly.
You're betrayed and you lose your love, and there was cleavage
And then
involved
you had lost a body part or two in a sword fight. That was just kind of the,
You
the
haven't done that,
nature.
you haven't lived, right?
Just the nature
Tuesday.
of the stories.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Just after you get done like rebuilding your little wall around like a 5 foot square, like 5 foot square tract of land, you're like,
Right.
no. Of course, your brothers were surrounded.
Exactly.
Your property there. I always wondered, do they have to like walk on the walls? I mean, how do they get?
Oh, you mean from lot to lot?
Yeah,
In Ireland?
just
There's
those
a lot
tiny-
of rocks, a lot of rock walls.
Those
Yes,
tiny
yes.
little tracts of land that they
Yes.
divide
Well, that
up.
was after. That's a political story. That's when the British confiscated all of the land, and the Irish were left with these little tiny parcels, which they, as they cleared them up to make a potato patch, put the rocks in a big corner, and boom, you have these rock walls everywhere. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of miles of rock walls.
Yeah.
Still there, still strong. They're amazing architecture putting those walls together.
Yeah. Making a pile in a queue. Just a straight
Exactly.
line pile.
Exactly.
Single file
Exactly.
pile is what that would be.
Well, you had to do something with all those potatoes you couldn't eat.
I know.
Just turn it into mortar.
There you go. Yeah.
Actually-
starchy mortar.
Actually, that's the art of these walls.
Starchy mortar.
That's a great bocce ball team name.
We're getting somewhere now.
The art of these walls, though, is they didn't have mortar. No, they just put the stones together in a way they didn't fall down.
Yeah.
It's like a jigsaw puzzle of some sort, but
Right.
I couldn't do it.
Well, thank you, David. Now, I know you're going to be sharing a few stories with us today. You're going to be hanging out with us for a
Yes.
little while. And so I don't know. I guess we could just hand it over to you.
You want
and-
to start with one? All right. You asked me for some music-related stories, so I thought I'd tell you about Ireland's most famous band. And I think you might recognize the band, but you may not recognize them as an Irish band. But you got to understand that during the potato famine, which we alluded to, which in Ireland's the Great Hunger.
I always allude to
Oh,
that.
well, you did when you talked about the potatoes.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
The rotten potatoes used as mortar. But but during actually, there's no laughing matter. But during that,
What's it doing on our
I don't
show?
know. I have no idea. But during the famine, 1840s, 1850s, over 1 million Irish people died, and about another million or so left Ireland. And we often think about all the Irish who came to America, but an awful lot of them went to England. And a major settlement of Irish who left Ireland in the 1850s was in Liverpool. And I want to tell you about three families. There was one man whose name was John O'Leenan. And the O'Leenan clan was an old Western Irish clan that somewhere along the line moved to Dublin. And the O'Leenans, during the famine years, moved to Liverpool, in the Merseyside region of Liverpool. And John O'Leenan married a woman named Polly Maguire. That's the Maguires were from County Fermanagh in Ireland. And they had a child who they named Alfred. And somewhere along the line, Alfred or his parents dropped the O, and O'Leenan became Lenin. And somewhere along the line, the pronunciation changed to Lennon. But Alfred Lennon married a Welsh woman in Liverpool, and they had a son named John. And that's John Lennon, who you may recognize as that famous Irish band named after some sort of insect. I forgot which one.
I thought it was a car. They were named after a car.
Car? Maybe it was a car. But
Volkswagen.
But the other one is there's another Irish member of that same band whose name was Paul McCartney, and his mother was Mary Teresa McMahon, another Irish family from County Monaghan, and that family left Ireland right after the famine years, and they too settled in Merseyside in Liverpool. And after a generation, she married. Actually, it would be another couple generations later. She married a man named John Paul McCartney, who's another Irish family. It comes from the clan McCartan. And they had a son named Paul, and that's Paul McCartney. Now, to finish the loop, three out of four, the other one is George Harrison. And his mother's maiden name was Louise French. And it's actually a... doesn't it sound very Irish?
No.
Have a name like Louise French?
For the time.
She was a descendant from a Norman family when Normans invaded Ireland in the 1300s and became very powerful lords in County Wexford. But they lost their lands to confiscations a couple generations later. And the French family, and the locals, because they were from Normandy, called them French. And that ultimately became their last name, because they were French, so why not call them French? So the French family lived in County Wexford in Ireland, and they too, during the Hunger Years, moved to Liverpool. A couple generations later, Louise French married a man named Harold Harrison. They had a son named George. And there you have 3 out of 4 of the Beatles who are... folks who left, descendants of people who left Ireland because of the hunger. Now, I'm a percussionist, and my sons are percussionists, and so I can make fun of percussionists, I think. Drummers don't count. So I think you could just say, frankly, the Beatles are an Irish band.
All right.
That's 3 out of 4
Because the drummer doesn't
Irish.
count. The hell with Ringo.
Hell with Ringo.
Star?
I don't know
What kind of name
I
is
don't
that?
know where Ringo's from, but the other 3 are descendants of Ireland.
All right. What about Pete Best?
Oh gosh, now you're getting really trivial.
Yep.
The pre-drummer, he's a neo-Beatle, isn't he? Or a nouveau? No, he'd be a neo-Beatle.
He'd be a proto-Beatle.
Proto-Beatle. I don't know where he's from.
Okay. Just thought
But
I'd throw that out
just
there.
an introduction to one of the stories. Just trying to show how the Irish had some influence over British culture. Because when you think of Britain, who's the most famous Brits in the last half of the 20th century? And it's
Sean Connery.
Sean. I guess he's a Scottish Brit. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I like that. No hesitation.
I knew
It's
that.
No,
I knew
you went
that.
right-
I
you
went
went
for
right-
the first Scot I could think
Right
of.
in there.
William Wallace. No.
Not very well liked in England, but yeah,
I
William
know,
Wallace
that's-
would be.
again.
Craig
why
Ferguson.
Why I brought that up? Yeah.
Well, you are listening to The Odd Hours. We have some more coming your way.
Yeah. Getting that request going here.
Ringo Starr, fill in the blanks. That one coming off his album Why Not? That was just from a couple of years ago. So I had Delaney and Bonnie and Friends. That's exactly how it's written. That was Are You a Beatle or a Rolling Stone? Just trying to tie it in a little bit here. We've got David who's going to be telling some stories up there at the Rocky Mountain Irish Festival this weekend. There in Estes
will.
Park. And it's going to be beautiful up there. It's not going to rain at all.
It has been. Let's just see.
We're gonna have to check in on the weather. We're gonna have to bring you the official.
Do you have a
Rocky Mountain?
Do you have a weather copter at the station? You can
We
check in on the weather?
do.
I have a weather window.
There you go.
We do, but I
Weather
don't.
window says
I don't
it's
know
blue
if we
sky.
charged up the batteries. It's one of those helicopters you can buy in the mall.
Yeah, it's on the string.
Yeah.
It goes so far.
Exactly. Yeah, it's one of those little pocket copters.
We can observe the microclimates.
We can get a sample from the sky. I was curious earlier what that thing was. I was seeing that bright thing up in the sky.
I don't know, but it's screaming.
What's that thing all about?
I don't know.
Make it go away, would someone?
I don't know. It looks like a 100-watt light bulb or something up there. I don't know what's happening.
Somebody turn that thing down. We need some clouds back. What do you think?
Yeah, pull the shades again. Sky shades. Bring them back.
Bring them back. We'll be doing the odd weather. You know when. That's coming up. 10, 15 minutes.
Ish.
Something like that. See when we can get that in. We're still looking for bocce ball team names. If you have any ideas out there, call in and let us know.
Valtrex and Viagra. That's what I'm going with.
Okay, I like it. I'm trying to remember what
think
those
about
what
that
those
one.
both treat. Oh, I remember now.
Yeah, the Cialis sliders. How about that?
I like that too.
Okay, can I think of heart medication ones?
Oh yeah. With now with more or less fatal bleeding.
You're exactly.
I mean, haven't you seen those commercials? They actually say
Less fatal.
less. It's like if you're going to try to reduce fatal bleeding,
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
Sure.
It's like
Just mortal bleeding.
I don't know
Just
why
tap
they
you a
have to
little.
use those exact words, but they actually say basically now with less fatal bleeding.
Yeah, that's good. That's what we want out of our health care.
Which if you don't know where your fatal is,
Right.
it shouldn't be bleeding.
Zyrtec.
Now
May cause
with-
bleeding from all orifice. But your allergies will be gone.
Oh, tired of embarrassing sneezing? Well,
Yeah. May cause incontinence.
just
That's another
wait till
fun one.
wait till you bleed out your cargo shorts. Okay, I guess we got a little off topic.
Okay, sorry. yeah.
Assuming we had a topic.
It's about bocce, not botulism. It's not a disease show today.
I used to tell people when they asked me when I a few years out of high school here in town, people would say, "What are you up to?" And I'd be like, "I went to school and I became a botulist."
There you go. That's
And at
fun.
first they thought it was great. It sounds like a
Think about that one
scientist
a
of
while.
something. Yeah, but no, just eating out of dented cans.
Yep, I'm just a petri dish.
No, there's a bocce ball team name there.
What?
Eating out of dented cans, or maybe just the dented cans,
What was I thinking? Oh yeah,
or perishable foods.
smash loaf.
That's right.
Should we talk about that? The Taste of Fort Collins incident?
Oh, I don't know how we could get around it for an entire 3 hours.
I don't either.
It would somehow come up. Well, yeah. Well, maybe we can
Later.
maybe we can come back and do that.
Okay.
And we can tell David what happened because he might not have heard.
Probably not.
He probably doesn't realize he's in the home of we're one of the most hated of all 90s resurging bands. They're coming through, and now it's a thing. We're gonna have to do it every time.
Okay.
So when the Spin Doctors play the Taste of Fort Collins next year,
Loaves of bread, everybody.
get ready. We're gonna start toasting the bread.
Now that could be violent.
Would you like your bread toasted?
Yeah.
And if you listened last week, you know we do.
Yeah, somebody said like
Toast it.
instead of a mud stock, it was bread stock. Because there was so much mooshed bread all over the ground.
Yeah, I heard bread gate and all kinds of other fun things.
Mine was funnier. I'll tell it later.
Somebody's got something to say. We are going to go ahead and get some music on. We are the Odd Hours. We're going to be back with David. Some more stories. Hurry. The phone's ringing. That was supposed to be The Doors with Albert King. We don't know if Albert was really in there or not, but
Could have been Albert Brooks. We don't know.
It sounded a little bit like it could have been the stylings of the great left-handed Albert King, somebody who Jimi Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan pretty much modeled themselves after. They were huge followers of Albert King.
Yeah.
If you don't know, some people even think that Albert King and B.B. King were the same person, but no, they died many years apart. So not the same. And don't begin to think that Freddie King is either of the two. No, they are the three kings of the blues. So that is a known fact. I've gotten into arguments with people who really thought they knew, and I'm like,
And
you're wrong.
they didn't.
They did, yeah, and
you're
they
wrong.
didn't, yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're like, no, Albert's BB's real name. I'm like, no, it's not.
No.
It is not. Okay, well, I think we've got David here, and he's going to be part of that Rocky Mountain Irish Fest. He's on the road and out on the road on tour. You're all the way from Michigan, you said?
Yeah, the western part of Ireland. It's we call it Detroit. About where we're from. But yeah, I'm from Michigan, and we've been on tour we go to Irish festivals wherever we can find them because we have a lot of fun.
I mean, Detroit's a lot like rural Ireland. There's a lot
It
of
is
rock
rural.
walls,
There's a
but
lot
there
of
might
rock
be some
walls.
like
Yeah,
barbed wire
yes,
on top
yeah.
of them.
Speaking of Irish, did you hear about the kids at Berkeley who there were 4 or 5 Irish kids died on a balcony because it was, and I knew immediately when they said Irish dudes and balcony, it was a party. It was a birthday and they were jumping up and down drunk and it broke the balcony and it killed people.
In Berkeley.
In Berkeley.
No, I didn't hear that one.
And they were from Ireland?
Yep. Irish kids having an Irish 21st birthday and they rowdied the balcony off of the building. And it fell to
It
the
can
third
happen.
It could have happened to
I guess
anybody.
It could happen.
Sure.
It could have happened to anybody.
Right.
All right. Well, now David's got a story here. I think he's going to be launching into it, and I think he said there might even be some participatory elements.
I figured I'd come up with a story that we would get some audience participation, which is either the two of you or you taking calls or wherever. But there's going to be some riddles, and we
Calls
have to
would
figure
be
out.
too hard.
Yeah,
Have to figure out how to do it.
we'd have to listen. We'd have to listen to you and the phone calls.
All right, that makes it too difficult. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you about an ancient king who had two advisors. One was Rory and the other was Angus. And he always listened to his two advisors. And he became very powerful men because they influenced the king. But Angus got a little jealous of Rory because the king just too often listened to Rory's advice. So Angus came up with a plan. He would discredit Rory so that every time the king needed advice, he would listen to just Angus and not Rory. Mm-hmm. Clever plan. So he waited till there was a banquet. It was a huge banquet, and all the clan chiefs from all over the kingdom were there, and they began to debate an important issue facing the kingdom. And the king turned to his two advisors and said "What should I do? What do you recommend?" Mm-hmm. And Angus said, "Before you ask Rory to answer, let me show you that Rory cannot be trusted as an advisor."
I think I've heard this.
You heard this story?
I know this story. It's a nursery rhyme.
Don't
It's a
ruin
nursery
it.
rhyme. So Angus asked, so the king said, "Well, this sounds interesting. How could you possibly prove that?" He says, "Well, I will ask him 3 questions, and I will show you he cannot answer them." So his first question was, that Angus asked to Rory. He says, "How many stars are there in the sky?"
Yeah, it's a trick.
See, that's the one you did here? The
I
nursery
think
rhyme? So, how did Rory answer that question? The king says, "I would like to hear the answer to that question." How did Rory answer?
He lied.
Well,
No. Is he the one that came up with as many grains of sand as there are on all the beaches? Is that his?
that's very close. Actually, you are not bad.
I told you I heard this as an infant.
You are not bad. So Rory brought in a sheep. He says, "Bring me a sheep."
Wait, we don't get the answer, though?
Well, you just go ahead.
Okay, I did
I
it.
thought you just did.
Oh, did you? Didn't I?
You have
He
another
said
guess?
it was close, but he didn't
You have
correct-
another guess?
No. That was my guess.
Sure. So grains of sand on the beaches?
Or
We'll go with that one. So
Okay.
you're right. You're right. That's what he said. There are as many stars in the sky as there are grains of sand on the beaches.
okay.
Actually, he had another answer as well. He brought in a sheep, and he said, "Count the number of hair on the sheep." And there are exactly the same number of stars in the sky as hair on the sheep. And if you can disprove me, count the number of hairs. And if you can't disprove me, then I, Rory, am right, and I've answered the question.
Okay.
So that's it.
What about the third question?
And you're not. That's the second. That was the first. What? You're ready to jump to the third.
I thought that was this. Okay.
Your grain of sand was pretty close.
Oh,
Was
okay.
pretty close to the answer of.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Is the number of hair on the sheep?
They had more sheep than sand, I guess, back then.
They had more hair on sheep than sand. Yes, they did. It's a rocky. Ireland's pretty
Right.
rocky.
They don't have beaches. They
They
just
don't
have
have a lot of
cliffs
beaches.
that they push each other off of.
Usually when they're in love.
That's how you do it.
Well, in either event, the king laughed at the answer and said, "You are absolutely correct, Rory. You have answered one question correct." So then Angus says, "Well, you'll never guess the second one."
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Where is the center of the earth?" And that's pause. This is called what? This is called a pregnant pause, waiting for the answer.
I usually have twins during that.
Where is the center of the earth?
Wherever the king happens to be.
Oh, you know what? You guys are way too good. You guys are way too good. We're killing it.
Is that
You
close?
have heard these stories.
No, I
It's
don't.
almost true. Because what Rory did is he got up, he drew a line in the sand, And he said, this is the center of the earth.
I thought they didn't have sand.
Because, well, he had a little bit.
Okay.
It might have been dirt.
Yeah, just for drawing.
Dirt. He drew a line in the stones.
Okay.
And said,
Whoa.
this is, I have to go with the flow, I think, with you two.
Do it.
He drew a
Swim
line in the
faster.
stones. And he said, half the earth is on this side. Half the earth is on this side.
That makes sense.
So this is the center of the earth. And the king laughed at that one. And the king realized, you know what? That makes me the center of the earth. Because wherever I am, half the earth is on one side, half's on the other.
Isn't that true for everybody?
This is the center of the earth. But he's the king.
I like that. Oh, yeah. It really
But you
fits
can
in.
use the same. Anybody can use that.
that's
Wherever I
pretty good.
am,
You're always
that
in the middle,
is
just like I said.
the
It will or it
center of
won't
the earth.
rain. Okay.
So that was the second one.
So that was the second one.
Oh, God.
You guys were good. Let's see. What if you're gonna get the third one?
I'm not sure if I'm Rory or you're Angus, but
I don't know.
But right now, Angus is getting a little upset because
Okay.
Rory is 2 for 2,
Yeah, yeah.
and now Angus' questions are starting to backfire.
Yep.
So Angus came up with a third question. How many men and women are there in the world? You're looking this up. You're Googling this answer, I can see.
No.
yeah.
Yeah. My hands are on my hips.
How many men and exactly how many men?
Men and women are there in the world?
That would be...
I'd say all of them.
Yep. I was going to go with all of them, too.
Well, Rory came up with an answer, and all of them probably would have worked, but instead...
So we won. we can give counsel to kings.
Instead, Rory looked at Angus and said, that is a question that is difficult to answer because there are so many specimens in the world that are like you, which are hard to determine whether you're male or female. So the only way to determine it would be to kill people like you, and then we could make an exact count of the number of men and the number of women.
Okay.
So that's how Rory answered that third question, which was sufficient for the king. He says, I don't know what kind of creature Angus is either, so I think we'll go with that answer.
Whoa.
So
Who
the
let him
king-
in here?
I think there's an easier way.
Put a leash on that kid. Get him out of here.
So the king banished Angus, and Rory became the sole advisor to the king.
There you go.
Now, that's about a 2,000-year-old legend.
So did the
in
good guy
Ireland.
win?
Yeah,
I
and
can't
what's the
remember.
moral of the
depends. Be careful, yeah.
Wait, was Rory the guy who was jealous at the beginning?
No, Angus.
Angus was.
Angus was-
Angus got banished because Rory correctly answered the questions.
Okay,
So that's an old story, an old Irish story.
there you go. Well, with a name like Angus, you better win.
Yeah. That
I like
or
it,
You,
yeah.
you play an AC/DC.
They've got the Angus cows have the coolest hairdos. Mm-hmm. You seen those guys?
Yes, yes.
It's a very British hairdo.
Yes, it's very Scottish.
Or whatever.
Bay City Rollers.
All right. Should we do weather?
We should.
All right. It's sunny. It's out there. Do it.
Done. It's not raining.
Yep. Not anymore.
All
Take
you
advantage of it while you can. Go swim in the sun, everyone.
All you need know.
Yeah. Go get your vitamin D. Taste the weather with your skin. That's my only recommendation for the weather. Yep. Because it'll do this for 3 days. Enjoy it, everyone. Then we're moving back to Seattle.
We also want you to know that KRFC is a proud sponsor of the Fort Collins Studio Tour. That is June 26th, 27th, and 28th. Local artists open their doors to the public to share their art and their creative spaces. More information and downloadable maps are available at fcgov.com/studio tour. Right, you are listening to the Odd Hours. Stay tuned for the emergency Odd Hours show reboot at the top of the hour. We're rebooting this thing.